We have discussed about KVL and KCL. Now in this example, we have shown here is an application of KCL and KVL, wherein we are required to find the energy in the stored in the capacitor, as shown in this diagram. Okay, so in this example, we'll be basically studying the applications, how to apply KVL and KCL, okay, in order to get the potentials or the currents. Okay, and then this voltages and currents will be used further to determine the energy stored in the capacitor, as it is asked in this numerical. Now, as per this numerical, a part of a circuit in steady state along with the current flowing in the branches with the value of each resistance is shown in figure. Now, we are required to find that what will be the energy stored in the capacitor C0. Okay, so this is the circuit, a steady state circuit given to us. Okay, this is the capacitor C0 with a value of 4 microfarad. And we have been given some of the current distributions along the branches of the circuit. We are required to determine the energy stored in the capacitor. Now, as we know from the circuit theory that the energy which is stored in the capacitor is given by half CV square, where the C indicates the value of the capacitor, okay, and V is the voltage across the capacitor. Now, here, in order to determine the value of the energy stored in the capacitor, we need to find the voltage across the capacitor. That means, in this case, we need to determine what is the value of the voltage across the points A and B. Okay. Now, here the circuit also has another element. Okay. Now, as it can be seen in this diagram, here are some of the unknown currents which can be seen here. There are basically 3 unknown currents given to us: I1, I2 and I3. So our aim is to first determine the values of these unknown currents, and then by using these unknown currents we'll be determining the voltage across the points A and B. Now, as we can see, there are basically in this loop we have been given an loop direction. Okay, the direction of the loop is clockwise. Now, if we'll consider this node A, at this point A, we can apply KCL to determine the value of the current, unknown current I1. Okay. Now, no current would be passing through this capacitor C0. As in the steady state, the capacitor would behave like an open circuit. So, no current will flow across this branch AB. Okay. So, at point A, we'll be having 3 currents: 2 ampere current, 2 ampere incoming current, 1 ampere incoming current, and I1 is the outgoing current. So, if we'll apply KCL at the node A, okay, so if we'll apply KCL, after applying KCL at node A, okay, at node A, as per the sign conventions we have seen for applying KCL, incoming currents have to be taken as positive, whereas outgoing currents will be considered as negative. So if we'll consider that case, 2 ampere and 1 ampere, these are the incoming currents to the node A, so they will be taken as positive. So plus 2, okay, plus 1, okay, and I1 is the outgoing current from the node A, so this will be taken as negative. So minus I1 is equal to 0. That is as per the conservation, as per the law of conservation of charge. That is, the incoming currents must be equal to outgoing current. So from here we can see that the value of the current I1 which is flowing through this branch is 3 amperes. Okay, so we have got a value of I1 as 3 ampere. Now the second thing is to determine the value of I2. Okay, now in order to determine the value of I2, we can consider this node B. Now if we'll apply KCL at this node B, we can see that 1 ampere and I2 current, they are the incoming currents to the node B, whereas 2 ampere is the outgoing current. So again, if we'll apply KCL at node B, okay, so after applying KCL at node B, we can see that since I2 and 1 ampere are incoming currents, so they will be taken as positive as per the sign convention. So it would be plus I2 plus 1 ampere, and since 2 ampere is the outgoing current from the node B, so this would be considered as negative. So minus 2 amperes equals to 0. So from here we can say that I2 is equal to 1 ampere. Okay, so we have got the values of I1 as 3 amperes and I2 as 1 ampere. Okay, now in this example, there is no need to determine the value of I3, because we are only interested in the voltage across the points A and B, and it is sufficient to determine only the values of I1 and I2, as the voltage across this points A and B depends upon the currents I1 and I2, and it is independent of the value of the current I3. Okay. Now in order to find the voltage across the points A and B, we'll be using the other law of Kirchhoff's, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law. and the direction of loop which has been given to us is in clockwise direction. Okay. Now again we'll assume that the voltage that is at the point A, we'll be considering that voltage as VA. That would be considered as VA. Okay. That means at this point we have a potential VA. The potential at point B would be considered as VB. Okay. And the difference between these two would give us the value of the potential across the capacitor. Okay. So we'll be using this voltage in this expression to determine the energy stored in the capacitor. Okay. Now in order to determine the value of the potential difference between the points A and B will be as I have told, we'll be using KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay. We'll just write the results which we have obtained as I1 equals to 3 amperes and I2 equals to 1 ampere. Okay. Now if we'll apply KVL to this loop A, D, C, B, A, okay, applying KVL to loop A, D, C, B, A. Okay. Now as per the sign convention which we have seen for KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, it is that if the direction of the current and the direction of the loop coincides, then the potential drop should be taken as negative. And for the EMF case, for the voltage case, if we are traveling from negative electrode to the positive electrode, then the potential should be taken as positive. Okay, and vice versa. Now in this case, let us start with the node A. Okay, so we are moving from this point A and in the clockwise direction, and we'll again reach this point A. Now the potential at A is VA. Okay, so we'll be taking it like this, VA. Okay, then for this potential drop, the direction of the current I1 and the direction of loop, as can be seen, both are in the same direction. So the potential drop should be taken as negative as per the sign convention. So the potential drop is given by Ohm's law as I into R. So value of current is I1 and the value of resistance is I1. So VA minus 5 I1. Okay. In this branch also the same current I1 is flowing. Okay. So again applying KVL, we can see that is, since both the directions for the loop and the current coincides, again there will be a negative sign. So this would be minus I1. Okay. Now in this case, the I2, current I2 and the direction of the loop, again it coincides. So again we will be having a negative potential drop. So this would be minus 2 I2. Okay. Minus the potential here. Okay. Would be minus VB equals to 0. Okay. So from here we can see that VA minus VB is equal to 6 I1 minus 2 I2. Okay. Now if we'll substitute the value of I1 and I2 which we have obtained from the earlier analysis, then we'll be getting the value of the potential drop between the points A and B as, okay, oh sorry, this would be plus, so we'll be getting it as 20 volts. Now 20 volts is the potential difference between the points A and B, and this is the potential drop across the capacitor C0. Now in order to determine the energy which is stored in the capacitor C0, we'll be using the formula half CV square. Okay. Now in our case, the value of the capacitance C0 is given as 4 microfarad. So 4 into 10 to the power minus 6 farads. Okay. In SI systems, we'll be taking the values, the unit for capacitance as farad. Okay. The voltage across the capacitor, the potential difference between the points A and B, we have obtained as 20 volts. So 20 C square. Okay. So after solving this, okay, what we'll be getting is a value of 8, could be 8 to the power 10 to the power minus 4 joules. Okay. So this is the energy which is stored in the capacitor C0. Okay. Now this example illustrates, okay, the applications of how we'll be using KVL and KCL to determine the value of unknown currents or the unknown potentials across the resistors in the circuit. Okay.